We're here. Everyone calm down. Fuck.
People even message me. They tagging me on Twitter too, man. Like, relax, man. Relax. Yeah. Everybody sound good? G sound good?
Yeah, we should be good.
Yeah, your mic's good now. I don't know why it wasn't connected before.
Yeah, it's just something was unplugged. So.
Oh, okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to No Name Wrestling. This week is gonna be a little special because we know WrestleMania is 2 nights, so we'll actually be going live tomorrow again for night 2.
Doubleheader.
I figure we've been doing the live after WrestleMania for a couple years now, but we usually been doing them on Sundays and recapping both nights. But we're like, why don't we just recap night 1 on Saturday, night 2 on Sunday? This is easier that way than when we got to talk about both shows in one. So today we're going to talk everything night 1. I think Lynn might be pulling up a little later on us. Not exactly sure, but shout out to Mo and Nate who are at WrestleMania. They will not be here, but they're at the event at the show. So I'm gonna let Jade do his little speech real quick for you guys, and then we'll talk everything about the things that we didn't like and things that we did like.
Yeah. So real quick. Wait. So hold on. Somebody said no sound. Can anyone else in chat confirm? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Is it just that guy?
Yeah.
Can we get some ones in chat if you can hear us? Can we?
Y'all ain't got no sound. Y'all can't hear.
I can hear you guys.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe it might just be him. Maybe he forgot to turn the volume up.
Somebody in chat said
nobody else said it. So
okay,
sound good, guys.
Okay, we got a 1. Okay, I'm gonna take that as confirmation. There we go. Okay, so whoever said no sound, that's you. That's not us.
Turn your volume up.
Turn your volume up, unmute, whatever you.
I had to restart your thing, man. Computer.
Yeah. Real quick, and I can see someone just said Jade's about to crash out. Yeah, you can probably see it in my face. I'm about to crash out. But before I crash out, so obviously I haven't been on. I don't remember the last time I was on the show. It's been a while. Just a quick recap for everyone, hosts and listeners included. Starting in December, right after Christmas, I started having some really bad medical issues, specifically with my back. I had to go to the ER with some paralyzing, excruciating back pain. Ultimately, they determined that I had some spinal stenosis. I took some medication. They got that cleared up. And as that cleared up, I started developing some weakness, really bad weakness in my legs and some really bad numbness in my left foot and tingling in my right foot. So I went and had an MRI done, and they determined that I had some degraded discs in my spine, specifically the ones that connect to the nerves down to my feet and my legs. Why? It's because I'm fat. I mean, it's a lifetime of being fat is going to lead you to that shit. But the good news is I'm on GLP-1s, and even before my second dose of GLP-1s, I was already down 25 pounds just on my own. And so I take my third dose tomorrow, and I'm going to weigh in, and I'm hoping that I'll have an even bigger difference. Right now, surgery isn't necessary, but I have an appointment with a pain management specialist at the end of the month, hopefully to get a steroid to decompress some of my nerves and then keep losing weight, and then we see what happens from there. But I've been dealing with side effects and shit like that for the past couple of months, and so that's why my attendance has been really spotty on the pod. But Mania was a big deal, and I really wanted to be here tonight. I just wish I had more better things to say, but we'll get into that. But thank you, everyone, for welcoming me back. I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. All right, let's get on with this.
Glad to have you here, man.
Yeah, glad to have you back. Before we dive into the chat, if you're new here, we are at 856 subscribers on the No Name Wrestling YouTube page. We are less than 150 away to get to 1,000. Send this to your friends. Subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on delay, leave a comment, like the video, share it. Y'all know the drill. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're on the road to 1K. We're trying to finish our story.
Can you share the link in the chat? And am I able to are you able to share?
I think you can pin it. Yeah.
Yeah. So G will share the link in the chat for y'all, and then we'll put it up. So I'll make sure you go show some love over there. All right. So to dive into night 1, we'll just talk through everything. Me and G were texting throughout the entire show in the group chat, and the main thing that I kept speaking about was the crowd, bro. I was not feeling the crowd. No. I felt like they didn't care about the show unless it was like a big surprise or a shock factor, you know what I mean? But even when the matches were happening, it felt like people didn't really care about the matches, bro. I'm like,
they didn't give them a reason to care.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna pay tickets, you gotta care, bro. I'm sorry, you paying tickets.
No, but Malik, all the time we talk about that was one of the big issues we had when they announced they were going to take it back to Vegas and they took it away from New Orleans. That was one of the big issues we had when they raised the prices, because the people that are going and the people that they're trying to get in the crowd that they're trying to attract don't care.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And so and then the people who actually want to be there, either the people that care are probably sitting so far in the nosebleeds and all that that you can't hear the ones who do care, or they probably just saving their voice for night 2. Because if we remember, even in WrestleMania 40, the difference between the night 1 and the night 2 crowds, even though we know the weather had a big deal because it was in Philly, but usually the night 1 crowds are because they're going both days, they're like, hey, let's save our voice for night 2 because we know we got to be back here the next day. And so, but everything, if you look at the matches they put on night 1, pretty much everything on that show was this was a okay build. Jacob and Drew, I think, had a good build going in, but other than that, the women's Tag match, Liv and Stephanie was a good build. Paige coming back, that got a little pop.
So let me jump in here, G. I think there are a number of reasons, and I think it feeds into several problems with this show. Number one, like you said, the lack of build with most of the matches. And sometimes it wasn't their fault. Seth and Gunther come to mind. Sometimes it was their fault. Cody and Randy come to mind. And I told Malik before we came on air, this was always going to be the problem, with being in Vegas in general, because normally when you have a show in a town or a city, they don't see things like WrestleMania all the time, and so it's new to them. Vegas sees this kind of shit all the time. The lights and the music and the athleticism and the fighting and everything. They see this kind of shit all the time. It takes a lot to impress a Vegas crowd. And even if you planned on people from outside of Vegas coming in, ticket prices are so astronomically high, there's no way they were going to be able to get in there. And the people who live in and around Vegas who would have come, they just paid for this shit last year. They can't pay to do that shit again this year. So the people that you had left in the crowd were always going to be hard to impress. That's number one. Number two, and most importantly, I think, and I was scrolling Twitter periodically throughout the show, and the number one thing I kept seeing throughout the show for the entire 3.5 hours, what is with these fucking commercials?
So
let me finish my point real quick and then I'm going to let you go because it feeds into our overall conversation, and then obviously you can talk more about the commercials. But my point is, the reason that the crowds were so hyped for pay-per-views back in the day, it's not necessarily because it definitely wasn't because the stories were better. Definitely wasn't because the wrestling was better. The reason that the crowds were so consistently hyped for pay-per-views from start to finish back in the day was you had a match, you had maybe 3 minutes of promos, and then boom, you're into another fucking match. And then maybe you have 4 minutes of promos, and then boom, you're into another fucking match. But between every match, there's an 8-minute commercial break, and the crowd is sitting on their hands. They're going to piss. They're going to get food. They're getting wrapped up in their conversations, and then they completely lose interest in the show. And that doesn't help the matter when out of a 3.5, 4-hour show, you have 90 minutes of wrestling. So, yes, you have to give the people the reason, but even if that had been the best booked show with all the best wrestlers and everything, when you have 10 minutes between every match, the energy is just, it's gone. It's gone. And that's exactly what happened.
My thing is, too, to add on to that, we're taking away promo packages now before matches that tell us the story before the match? That's a main reason that people get hyped before matches too, is that the promo package is really good. That gets your energy up. You're like, oh yeah, man, I can now we ready. The entrances and everything. Like, other than the main event, I thought I was tripping when the ads were happening. I'm like, maybe I got the wrong
playing it for the live crowd. Unless they're playing it for the live crowd.
Yeah, unless they're playing it for the live crowd.
Because there are some times where I know sometimes when I go to shows live, I'll go watch back to see if I was on TV. There's times where they're playing a completely different ad in the stand in the arena that they're playing on the screen. Not all the time, but it happens.
Okay,
so unless they were doing that, but these ads were 4 or 5 minutes.
Hold on. What about the chamber? Because I was at they played the promo packages at the chamber.
I don't remember I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember. I know there was definitely ads. I was definitely watching ads.
But I have a hard time believing that because again, the crowd just had little interest, and B, why would they show us the Cody Randy package but not have a package for everything else?
Because they have those packages. Because they don't care about everything else.
they have those. They literally dropped them on YouTube, on WWE's YouTube channel. Like they have the packages, and I'm like, okay, why? Like I'm thinking when the ads are happening, I'm thinking maybe I got the wrong subscription. I'm like, oh, maybe I got the wrong subscription or something because I'm going straight from ads into the match. Yeah. So I'm like, well, no promo packages. Yeah. But then G said he was having the same thing. So I'm like, okay, let me ask Twitter, and Twitter said the same thing. So I'm like, we're taking away promo packages now. Besides the main event, excluding the main event. You're gonna take away the promo packages before matches. I think that is a huge no. Like,
and we're just talking about. I mean, the reason people on Twitter are mad is because they're paying $30, $40 a month for this service and still have to watch 10 minutes of ads between matches. But that's a whole other kit and caboodle that you have to deal with. But as far as
somebody said they had promos for Chamber, so
okay. And it's really inconsistent too because obviously in America on Netflix when we're getting commercials. Canada is getting promos from the New Day. So it's really inconsistent on what the live crowd sees. And maybe that feeds into it too, is there's a disconnect between, and we've seen that with people like Jey Uso. There's a huge disconnect between the live crowd and the internet crowd. And maybe that's part of it. But definitely I did not get the impression based on the crowd reactions. And again, there were things throughout the night that they were able to pull that crowd back in. Gunther versus Seth stands out. But I just
right, let's talk about some positives before we get into the negatives. We'll talk about some positives. One thing that I did like, Seth and Gunther doesn't surprise me. I think we all expected that match to be great.
For sure, yeah.
That is not a surprise. Braun Breaker being back is also good. That's a major plus right there. He got a pretty good reaction. I did like Jacob and Drew. Thought that was pretty good, even though the crowd didn't really react as much
until the end.
I thought that was a pretty good match. Other than that, everything else was kind of
but this
Liv Stephanie was good, but I felt it should have been longer. It should have been longer.
But don't worry. This is the night that you could have got 25% off.
Yeah.
This is the one because Randy Orton was going to save professional wrestling. Well, you said, you know what? I'm sorry. You said you were going to start with the positives. So
yeah. Let's get.
Okay, what are things that y'all did like? Are there things that y'all did like about the show?
I love, obviously. I wish her boyfriend wasn't a complete asshole, but I'm happy for Paige. That's a great moment for her. I do wonder if the Bellas were going to win that match or if they decided to change because Paige came back. I don't know.
And let me say, Def Rebel, they better not touch that theme.
Yeah,
they better not even mess.
With that Paige thing. They're gonna add a "This is my house" to the entrance. They're gonna add a "This is my house."
I loved that WWE gave Bianca Belair that space on television to address the crowd. I love that. Super happy for her. Super happy for her. I miss her. Like I when she was coming down, I was like, this isn't going to be good news. Now she was pregnant. That is good news. But I knew she was just going to be saying she's going to be missing more time because I miss Bianca Belair. Like
I thought she was going to come out and just add I thought she was going to come out and be like, "Thanks for showing up to Mania."
Right? Yeah. And then, like you said, I loved Drew and Jacob. That's probably been the best build throughout the whole thing. Honestly, I'm trying to think about the first two matches now. The 6-man tag was better than I anticipated, and the ending was better than I anticipated. And then
a little viral moment that they wanted.
And then I loved, even though, and we'll talk about this later, even though the ending ended up confusing the fuck out of me, I loved little storytelling moments with Cody and Randy that got me hooked there in the middle. So those are probably my standout. And then Gunther and Seth was the match of the night. So those are my positives.
What did you like?
Yeah, Jacob and Drew. I'm glad that Jacob got his win. I'm glad that they were able to have a high profile match. I hate that we had to take the title off of Drew for the build that we got, and then subsequently the finish to this match, which we'll get on to later. Paige's return was cool. Like, I'm happy for Paige as a person. But, like, I think that tag division is dead, and I'll get onto it later.
Somebody said Cody's entrance. That was tough.
He cooked with that. Cooked with that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was elite with that. Now Randy's entrance, I like the Viper, but I guess I thought there was gonna be more.
Yeah.
But it was like, but I still like. I was like, oh,
I do like though that he shaved his head and he wore the blue trunks, trying to throw it back to past iterations of his character too. So that was a little subtle thing.
Yeah. So I did like that. Liv and Stephanie, I do understand why people feel like it should have got more time, but that is honestly a trend that I felt like for most of the show.
That was the whole night.
I felt even with Jacob and Drew, ironically enough, until we got to Seth and Gunther, I never felt like any match hit second gear.
No.
I expected that for the tag match because, okay, if the Bella Twins were always supposed to win and Nikki got hurt,
yeah,
Paige's first match in WWE and forever, her first match wrestling period in a while, you don't want to do too much. Okay, cool. The 6-man tag, you got Logan Paul and Speed both in that match, so you're not gonna do too much anyway. But like Liv and Stephanie, I feel like never hit their second gear. Like I knew the Judgment Day was gonna come out, but like I just felt like
I looked down to say something to my kid, and the match was over. It was insane
because I thought like we were gonna get the barred from ringside, then we start getting to the finish. Like
after that second Oblivion, I'm like, okay, we're gonna start the first one. Sorry, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. I was like, okay,
we're gonna start pick up, and then like the second
was
one
just like whatever.
Yeah.
Which again, I know we're trying to stay positive.
How y'all feel about that thing?
Liv Morgan
that thing
is so lucky that people fiend for her the way they do.
Oh yeah.
Because anybody else, she would have been booed into pun intended oblivion. Oh my god, bro. That theme song is horrible.
What I will say, the song is terrible. The song is trash.
It's horrible.
What I will say though, as long as we're sticking to the positives, I don't know if G will agree with me, but I feel like in the past couple of years, Liv has proven G and I wrong about what we thought of her originally. She I mean, regardless of the song.
Oh, be careful. They're gonna say y'all switching up now.
No, be careful. No, listen, I always said that my only problem was that back when Liv was constantly losing and looking like a dork, people were already saying, oh, she's a star, she's the best. Now you can say that about her.
Right.
All of you who were talking all that shit 2 years ago, say all you want now because she's a fucking star. Back then she wasn't.
And at the time it was like, and you, me, and Nate had all said, you need to build her up correctly before you start putting her in these conversations. And then they built her up correctly. And I was like, okay, we're good now. That's all we wanted.
So I'm honestly, I'm happy for her and I'm proud of her. But yeah, that match was the epitome of the entire night, really. Like I said, the match started. I looked down to goof around with my kid for what felt like 2 minutes, and then I looked up and the match was over. So
I knew the show was going by fast I know they're in Vegas and everything, so they're like 3 hours behind, but when I kept realizing like the sun was still out, like in the stadium.
Yeah, like when they started the post show and people were leaving, I was like, oh wow, the sun isn't even like set yet. Yeah. Like I know they're gonna post it eventually, but I want to see what these match run times were.
And part of that was because, like you said, they were in the desert, and when the show started, it was 3:00 local time, right? Yeah. So that's part of it. But yeah, for sure. And we'll get into that as we transition into.
Well, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and transition in because there's obviously a lot of shit that people want to discuss. And before we dive into the main event, because we'll talk about that first. Is there anything that you want to talk about that really pissed you off that you just want to get off your chest right now? Just if it doesn't involve the main event.
If it doesn't involve the main event, go ahead, Jake.
First of all, I both hate and love that they didn't let Becky Lynch's, the lead singer of the Wonder Years, have a live mic, because I don't know if you guys...
Oh my god, I said that in the chat! I said that in the chat!
I don't know.
Oh my god!
First thing I thought of when I saw that too, I'm like, is he lip syncing or am I crazy?
I literally texted in the chat. I was like, this nigga is lip syncing. He literally missed his cue.
I don't know if you guys know why, but the reason for that probably is when he goes and does his live shows, he's far left wing. He's like, F Palestine or Free Palestine, F ICE, all that stuff. So they were afraid he was going to say something like that. That's why they didn't give him a live mic. But
wow, I didn't know that, but that's crazy.
It's just the epitome of the night. I hate, and the reason I bring that up is because I want to talk about that match. Why? Oh my God. It's the same thing as Cody, Randy, and Pat. With all of the history that Becky and AJ Lee have recently and years ago, why in the living name in the bluest of fucks is Jessica Carr the central point for that match?
Oh, wait. Well, okay. I'm going to let you finish.
It just, why this whole weekend, this whole build-up, WWE has wanted us to focus on the wrong fucking things. Like, you have two of the best wrestlers in the world in the ring. Why do I give a shit about Becky and Jessica? Listen, I know Jessica Carr has been working out, and maybe she's going to become a wrestler. Maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know. But at WrestleMania, in the middle of a match with AJ Lee, with all that history, that wasn't the time to bring that up. Everything about that match, and then obviously it was way too short. It never felt like it entered second gear.
That is true.
Everything about that match with AJ and Becky, starting from the lip syncing singer all the way to Jessica Carr, and then the finish. Not talking about the main event, that was the worst part of the night.
And so I will say this. I do agree that it went way too. Somebody just said it went 8 minutes, 15 seconds. I get maybe AJ Lee, she just got back, but for Becky Lynch, that's a disappointment. This is a one night WrestleMania main eventer. She deserves more time than that. Nevertheless,
you couldn't get 15, bro.
Yeah, like couldn't get 15 is crazy. Yes, like I said, I literally called it because he missed his cue. And I was like, this doesn't even sound like they're performing it live. This literally sounds like just the audio track, right?
No. As a singer, I knew it immediately. I was
like, this man, because he missed his cue. Like, I heard it, and then he opened his mouth. So I'm with you on that. I will disagree with you, and I will give you a little bit of pushback on Jessica Carr. The reason why I will give you pushback on Jessica Carr is because literally every time Becky Lynch has lost that title, it's been because of Jessica Carr, in kayfabe wise, in her mind, and she's been the referee for the match. Every time AJ Lee tapped her out, Jessica Carr was the referee. When she lost to Maxine because of AJ Lee, Jessica Carr was the referee. So again, for me, I don't mind that they focused on Jessica Carr. I'm more upset that they didn't give that room to breathe and still have time to focus on AJ. Because I found out it went somebody in the chat just said it. If it went 8 minutes and 15 seconds, like they're saying, then it's gonna feel like all they did was focus on Jessica Carr, right? Because it felt rushed. They didn't have enough time to focus on, hey, Becky and AJ actually can hoop, like they've done it already, right? So if it really did go 8 minutes 15 seconds, that's probably why I felt that way. Yeah. But I don't think focusing on Jessica Carr was necessarily an issue.
2 points, and then I'll be done. Number one, you're probably right that if the match had been allowed to be more fleshed out, I likely wouldn't have had as much of an issue with it. But B, and this is a theme for the entire night for a lot of the things that I have wrong with this night, WrestleMania isn't the night to tell that story. I'm sorry. WrestleMania isn't the night to tell that story because WrestleMania is supposed to be the night where you cap these stories off. You come back on Monday and you start fresh with new stories into the new season. And there was just too much shit that happened on this night that felt like the end of a Backlash or the end of a Night of Champions match where, tune in next week and see what happens. No, I shouldn't have to tune in next week and see what happens because it's WrestleMania.
Well, to your point, Jade, Malik, can you please do me a favor and highlight GW Bryce's comment so we can all look at it together?
Oh yeah, I got the match stuff. Somebody sent it to me.
Because he just posted it in the chat. That's ridiculous.
My homie just sent it to me. So the match length for every match. The opening match was 7 minutes 10 seconds. That was a celebrity match. Drew and Jacob was 14 minutes 10 seconds. Every women's match on the show was under 10 minutes.
Unacceptable.
And Liv and Stephanie, how much was that?
9 minutes.
That was 9 minutes? Ridiculous.
Gunther and Seth was 15.
Best match of the night, deservedly so.
And then Cody and Randy was 22.
That felt so much longer.
You expect the main event to go.
Yeah, but that felt like 30. Like I'm talking about like match time.
And that's like because that match time is only counting bell to bell, and you had 10 minutes of fluff. With
that's what it was. Yeah, you're right.
So,
but no, okay. So let's. I do want to address that though. I'm sorry, this is WrestleMania. Triple H, you had 7 matches on this card, and I think you have 6 on tomorrow's. There should be no reason everybody's not getting 15 plus. Even your women's tag, which is probably on paper the worst one because of who's in it. There should be no reason everybody's not getting 15.
Nope.
I'm sorry. There's no excuse for that. Liv and Stephanie, the best built women's feud, got 9. When, let's be real, we all know Rhea and Jade are getting 15. Just because of who they are. And that's been the worst built one out of all the women's feuds.
I don't know if Jade Cargill can go 15 for real. Like
she did what else good in Saudi.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like, so I'm sorry. That's very that's unexcusable, and I'll probably make another video on that later. But the fact that somebody's saying Liv and Stephanie got 6. I don't think it didn't feel like 6.
No,
I don't think that's right.
No.
It didn't feel like 6 to me. But Liv and Stephanie getting 9. Becky and AJ got 8. And then the women's tag got what? 6, 7?
Yeah.
So this is also why, too, before we get into the main event, after this,
a lot of people are saying it got 6 instead. It didn't feel like 6, but
after this, we'll talk about the main event. This is a big reason why the women don't get the main event of WrestleMania, because they still don't take that women's division as serious as they hype it up or talk about. Nope. When you have 3 women's matches on one WrestleMania and every single one of those matches were under 10 minutes long, that's a problem. That's an issue. I still don't think they feel the women's division is the same level as the men's division. They don't use the builds for WrestleMania the same way for the women's opposed to the men's. The men's get more attention. The men's always feel bigger. Like, they have the star power and they have the talent in the women's division, but they don't treat it as the same opposed to the men's division. They talk about the women's evolution and all that stuff. That was over 10 years ago. And it still feels like we're still having to fight for women superstars to be utilized in a high-profile way. When you have the talent and you have everything there to do that.
And not only do you have the potential and the talent, the proof is in the fucking pudding. Like, think about the best matches at WrestleMania for the past 4 years and how many of those involve Charlotte, Rhea, Io, Bianca, Becky. Like, give me a freaking break with that. And here's my other problem with it before we move on. And because it all connects. It's an endless circle with this shit. If everyone on the card, right, had gotten 9-10 minutes like they had, and we had also gotten a Julia and a Tiffany or a Grande versus Grande type of deal where more people were, I might be okay with it. But it is literally the textbook definition of inexcusable that the reason why everyone on the card was limited to 6 to 10 minutes was because you just needed to have that Slim Jim or that tax bracket ad in between your matches. Absolutely unacceptable for a pay-per-view. Can't do it.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why we still have this issue for the women's division. When you have the talent, you have everything there. You've given them chamber matches, Money in the Banks, WrestleMania main events. You've given them their own pay-per-view. Like, you've given them everything that they've deserved. But then when WrestleMania comes around, it still feels like they don't feel on par compared to the men's because they don't put the time and effort into the women's feuds like they do with the men's. I mean, Liv and Stephanie was probably the first women's championship good feud we had going into Mania that actually felt decent. Maybe since Bianca and Becky, and that was in 2022. So it's like they have to put more time and effort into this. You have to make the women's, division feel equally the same as the men's. And don't even get it started when it comes to booking the champions. When it comes to booking the women's champions, they're good at giving you the moments. They give you the moments, but when it comes to booking them and consistent good stories and making them feel important to the shows, look at Tiffany, you look at Bayley, you look at Nia, you look at Liv, her last reign, look at Rhea Ripley, all the reigns that she's had, like Io Sky, who was one of the best wrestlers in the world. Every time they capture the championship, a good moment, but it don't take long before they actually feel like an afterthought to the show.
And I'm going to say one more thing that sort of encapsulates this whole thing, and this is one of those things when I say this, you have to consider the source to really understand like how important what I'm saying is if I'm the one saying it. The biggest disgrace to this whole WrestleMania season is that Io Sky didn't have a fucking match. Io Sky is
That's a lot coming from you. That's a lot coming from you.
Undoubtedly your second most popular wrestler in your entire company. Io and Rhea consistently get bigger pops every single week than anyone not named Cody Rhodes. And yet, Io Sky is on the sidelines when WrestleMania comes around.
You know what's crazy, Jade? There's only 6 matches on night 2. They had a slot.
No, they didn't, G, because they had to run an hour of commercials throughout the night. They didn't have time for that shit. That's why I'm so mad.
But I know I just got. I just want to say one thing before we get to them because I know I just got back. Because y'all was talking about like the way they treat the women and all that stuff. I guess my frustration for real is that I thought we learned. Even though y'all clearly did the first one as a publicity stunt, y'all had a second Evolution, and it was one of your better pay-per-views of the year.
Yep.
That was the best show they had last year, PLE, to me.
When they gave these women time, it was actually really, really good. You couldn't give them 15? Like 15, guys. A World Heavyweight Championship match. You couldn't give 15?
And by the way, Io and Asuka would have had the match of the entire weekend. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
So let's not forget Asuka in this equation either. Regardless of time,
Asuka can still hoop for sure.
And you even have the story. One of the best stories they're telling right now is Io's constant efforts to try and free Kairi Sane from the clutches of Asuka. So that's one of the best stories they're telling too. And no, we can't do that because we have to have 10 minutes of Jelly Roll putting Pat McAfee through a table and an hour of ads on a fucking pay-per-view.
All right, let's talk about the main event. We'll all go individually. I'll start and then I'll let y'all go after.
Go ahead.
Go after. First off, let me just say the match itself was a little boring, but it kind of picked up a little bit. It probably could have been a little bit better. I don't know why we had to have Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee into this situation. Still don't know, especially with the outcome that we got. Don't know why we had to have that at all, but whatever, it happened. I will say, though, I do think Cody winning is the right choice. And I thought he was going to win, didn't think he was going to lose going into this Mania for the simple reasons of if you have Cody win, you're going to be telling the same story we already told last year, where he's going to chase the title all the way back to SummerSlam and beat Randy for the title more than likely like they did with John Cena last year. And unlike what Cena did last year, Cena turning heel was this big shocking thing that we never thought we would see. So it was kind of like you have to have Cena win the championship at WrestleMania because of that reason. Randy's been this guy many, many times. We've already seen it. Didn't really feel he had to win at WrestleMania, but I only feel if they do it this way for the story, it will make sense, and I think it will be better. If Randy now goes on this collision where now he just goes ballistic, he'll stop at absolutely nothing to get the championship. Like, more dangerous than ever. How far will Randy Orton really go to capture the 15th world title? We already know he can be devious. Like, when Randy's at his most dangerous, we already know he can tap in and be the most diabolical heel maybe WWE's ever had. But can he take it up now even further to another stage? I think that's a more interesting story to tell, opposed to Cody loses and then he goes on another chase for the championship. I think now if Randy gets these voices in his head, they get even louder, and now he destroys everybody in his path. He ain't listening to nobody now. He's listening to himself and himself only. No Pat McAfee, no Jelly Roll, nobody else, no Nick Aldis. Everybody getting the smoke now. Don't matter who's in his way. He just punted Cody in the head, so I'm expecting Randy Orton to now take that heel level up to a new notch to where then when he captures the title, it makes him feel like, yeah, nobody can stop this, Randy. And I also think it made Cody look good in the end, too, because there's still people out there, even though Cody did use heel tactics in that match, there's still people out there who feel like Cody can't be that guy. They still swear that Cody Rhodes, he doesn't have grit. He's too cookie cutter. He can't do whatever it takes in the match to pull the trigger and actually, win the matches time and time again. Don't know how much more he has to prove in matches. You just saw it tonight. He clearly showed that when Cody Rhodes can get down and dirty with everybody else, who'll do whatever it takes to make sure that he stays champion. I also felt that was important to the story for Cody Rhodes to be able to be looked at as like, oh, this version of Cody is serious. And now Randy, for him, he realizes he's got to take it up to a new level if he's going to be this version of Cody, which I think he could do. I think we potentially maybe could get maybe the most dangerous Randy we've ever seen. And we've seen Legend Killer Randy. We've seen 09 Randy, 2020 Randy. Like, we've seen Randy at his most devious. But if Randy's able to take it up to a whole new notch where he just does the most dangerous and craziest stuff we've ever seen, everybody in his path is getting destroyed for him to capture that 15th world title, I personally think that is a better story to tell opposed to then Randy wins at Mania, and then you're probably going to have Cody chase the championship back all the way to SummerSlam. And I only say that because we already know Cody's the guy. And that's part of the reason I also felt he was going to win at WrestleMania. I didn't think he was going to take another loss in the main event when he's the guy. And when Cody is now the guy, majority of his storylines are going to be involved with the championship, whether he's chasing the title or he just got the whether he's chasing the title or he's the champion. And he just got it back. So I'm like, I don't think he's dropping that thing when he just got it back and he's going to have to go on another chase. Like, it feels like the same rinse and repeat story they're telling with Cody. I felt it was better for Cody to win. And then if they do it the way that I said they do it, I think it makes it more interesting. Now, if they don't do it that way, then it's kind of be like, well, what was the point of kind of Randy losing if you're not going to tell that particular story? Because Pat McAfee, he said he wasn't showing up if he lost, so he should be out of the equation. He took that RKO. We should never be seeing him. I won't say ever because you can never say never in wrestling. So I'll say for a minute, Jelly Roll should be out of the equation. Like, these unnecessary outsiders, a part of this feud, should be out of the equation. We should not have a Pat McAfee and a Jelly Roll and all these other people involved in this story. Just let Cody and Randy tell their story. Let Randy Orton go on this ballistic path. And then whenever they want to decide to have him capture the championship, pull the trigger right, I think it tells a better story for that. And then you could also do different layers for Cody too. Maybe Cody's got to take it up a new notch too if he's going to get the title back from that version of Randy. Like, there's different things that you could do, I feel, that makes the story interesting. And I think it could add some good layers to SmackDown, which I think they desperately really need right now because SmackDown is damn near unwatchable for being
struggling. Yeah,
it's hard to watch SmackDown, especially that go home show that we just saw. Probably the worst one I think we've ever seen. I mean, I almost wasn't even that great.
And I almost texted y'all, be like, "Yo, can we go live after the SmackDown just to talk about how bad it was?" Like, I almost wanted to have an emergency live session.
The Raw episode wasn't really like, it wasn't like terrible, but it was like, you kind of expected more. That SmackDown one though, I'm like, this is it.
It felt like it didn't build to anything.
Yeah. And it's bad when you have Cody and CM Punk in the ring, two of the hottest guys in the company, and the show ends on a wet fart.
That was.
But that was the dumbest segment they could have done. That was so stupid.
So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe somebody could lead Cody to Randy Hell in a Cell. Maybe they could tell that. Like, there's different things. I feel if they tell it that way, then I think they made the right choice. Then if it doesn't go that particular way, then I will feel like how y'all probably are going to feel like, why didn't Randy turn heel and not win? Like, then I would feel that way. But if they tell it the way that I kind of see it and kind of how I thought going into this match, where Cody wins, he shows you he can be that guy. Hey, I can get down and dirty when I have to get down and dirty. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to win the championship and keep it too. And then Randy takes it up to a whole new notch where he's just going absolutely ballistic to get the championship and capture it for 15. I do think that is a more interesting story to tell. So, Jade, let you put your 2 seconds.
So, here's the thing, Malik. I don't disagree with a single thing that you said. I take no qualms really with the end of the match, because when you think about Randy Orton coming back as a more vicious version of himself, even though I usually hate cliffhangers at WrestleMania, because again, WrestleMania is supposed to be when everything closes. You could really say that it is closing because the Randy Orton that we're going to be getting starting on Monday is not going to be the same Randy Orton we just had. So I could talk myself into being okay with the way the match ended. I have no issue with that. And I love that we are starting to see Homelander Cody starting to bleed through a little bit, because we've been waiting on that. And I think the poke to the eye and the kick to the balls and his kind of looks of like this to the, like, what the fuck is wrong with you kind of thing he was doing to the crowd. We're starting to see signs of Homelander Cody starting to peek through. I love that. My issue going into it and my issue coming out of it is that you could have told that exact story and had that exact same match with the exact same ending without Pat McAfee and without Jelly Roll. So all that served to do at the end of the day, because you could have had that exact ending without either one of them, The only thing that Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll's involvement served to do was take away time from people that weren't on this card that should have been. Stratton, EO, Mello, Americano, both of them. The list goes on and on. And the conversation that I seem to be seeing about the celebrity involvement is, some people will say, oh, they've always had celebrity involvement. Technically that's true, but that doesn't help your argument when the celebrity involvement didn't used to take time away from other people who were supposed to be on the card because you had a bunch of matches and no pay-per-views. There was time for everyone to be involved, and you just don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
But the other conversation that I'm seeing is, whose fault is it? Why do we have all these celebrities? And I think there are two reasons, and it is either one of them, but my belief is that it is both. Reason number one, because you held WrestleMania in the same location that you held it in last year, and because your build was so atrocious, WrestleMania ticket sales compared to previous years were in the toilet. And that's how they were comfortable with having Speed and McAfee and discounted tickets on night 2 and all this other shit. And then the other thing is, the other possibility is it was TKO's idea. And I think it was both. I think somebody at TKO shat out these ideas, and I think WWE looked at their ticket sales and said, look, maybe it doesn't make sense for Jelly Roll to be involved in this. Maybe we don't need Pat McAfee to be involved in this, but we need to sell these tickets, and the best way for us to sell these tickets is to have a multi-platinum recording artist and the host of the most popular podcast in the world on our show. And at the end of the day, we should be coming away from this talking about, oh, we're going to get Cody and Randy, and oh, we're getting these cracks at Cody Rhodes. But unfortunately, because everything else had to suffer in order for things to play out the way that they did, all anyone is going to be talking about online for the next several weeks is, what the fuck were Pat and Jelly doing there? We didn't need them. And so what it all comes down to is that these guys worked their asses off all year to be at WrestleMania, especially in the main event. And I know how serious Cody takes this, and I know how serious Randy takes this. And the fact that this is still the sequence of events that we got, and it impacted so many people negatively, regardless of how much I may be okay with the results of the main event, the way it all played out is unforgivable and inexcusable to me. And I will never really understand why WWE, aside from just, oh, we need to sell tickets, I just don't know if that's a good enough reason to allow things to play out the way that they did.
So, I know I usually have a tendency of coming to these WrestleMania post shows very, very upset. Actually, first off, before I even get into any of that, chat, we have 292 people in this stream right now. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube, man. Come on, what are we doing? If you ain't subscribed, what are you waiting on? This is the best podcast in the world. Anyways, let Malik, I understand. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't understand you. I get why you feel like Cody should have won. I get why, especially because what's winning me over with your argument is the idea of not repeating the same story he's been telling the past 2 some years. Yeah. Right? I can't get with you on that. My 2 main issues. One of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling is when people turn heel and lose immediately. I think that kills, more often than not, more steam than it does help. Granted, it's Randy Orton, so at that point, it's kind of like Randy Orton will be fine, but naturally, I hate it, right? I hate when heels freshly turn heel and then lose right away, because naturally, why would I then care? Like, okay, you're a bad guy now, but you're still losing. You're doing the same thing you were doing as a good guy. So the new thing that I have to care about, I no longer care about. My second issue, with that being said, in this match, okay, you take out Pat and Jelly Roll, even Jelly Roll saying, have the one-on-one match we were meant to have. okay, there's your creative booking decision that said, hey, we're going to try to fix this TKO stuff. Even Pat coming back in the referee thing, I actually didn't hate. I was like, okay, that's a heel thing to do. Randy Orton, then RKO Pat McAfee.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, Cody Rhodes takes advantage, something he's known to do. So that's what Sammy was complaining about. I said, was that a double turn? Which then would have then justified Randy Orton losing. My problem is then immediately after you grab the title, hit him in his head, and that is when you punt kick him. And the end of WrestleMania Night 1 is you standing tall with the championship. If I was trying to introduce somebody to wrestling and I showed them that picture, they'd be like, oh, so the guy standing up won. Imagine then telling them, no, actually he lost. And then they're like, well, then why is he standing there with the title? Exactly. That was my issue. I'm with you, Malik, on why you felt Cody should have won. I hate the way we got there. And it's not even really the Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. It's the fact that if you wanted to get there, fine. Why is then Randy basically no-selling the Crossroads, getting up, cracking you over the head, and now punt kicking you? If that's the image you wanted to end your show of Randy Orton standing tall with the championship over his head or in his hands, then just have him win the match. Because you can still tell whatever dynamic. I understand maybe not having Cody do the chasing thing, but you can still progress eventually to a Hell in a Cell. You can still progress. And now that we've technically eliminated, well, I think even if Pat McAfee still showed up, the RKO to me is what eliminated him from this story. Now that that's eliminated, we can finally get to the 20-year history. We can bring up legacy. We can have the promo battle that we didn't have. I just don't like the way we set it up. Like watching it in live time, you're kind of making this look pointless. Why is Randy getting the upper hand at the end of the match? That is something you do at the end of Raw. Even though it's not as bad, it reminds me of when Cedric Alexander was the garbage man going against a Corbin and him.
Yeah.
And he lost, but then he hits him with a drop kick and is like, oh, actually, I outsmarted you, but you lost. So it doesn't matter. You still lost. Randy Orton, yeah, you standing all big and bad, but you just lost. You still got pinned 1, 2, 3. I get it. I've seen, and as I've listened and as I've calmed down, I've seen people say on Twitter, "Oh, Malik, I feel like you're kind of getting with this as well," where they're kind of just resetting this storyline. They basically just kind of factory reset it. Hey, this is the new timeline now. We snapped everybody away. This is our new timeline.
Right.
So I'm willing to give it a chance. But just on initial reaction, which is what I made my video on, you should have just had him win.
Let me show y'all what Cody's eye looks like right now.
Damn.
From that punt kick.
That's from the punt? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Look, you can see the boot right there. You can see the imprint of the boot.
You can. That's crazy. Yeah.
And see, that would be so much better to me. Like, even now, like, I'm kind of going back to my original thought. That would be so much better if he lost. That would feel so much more important if he lost. Because they did, and maybe their plan was to always do, let's just say Pat and Jelly Roll weren't in this. Maybe their plan was to always do like a 3-match thing and Randy wasn't going to win at Mania, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, maybe slowly but surely build to this Cody heel turn, double turn, whatever. That moment right there, they didn't even bring up the possibility of using the punt kick. Randy Orton never teased it. Granted, because we had to spend 4 weeks hiding behind Pat McAfee in a Dodge Ram truck. But nevertheless,
And by the way, Michael, I just want to point out real quick, Michael Cole also spent 10 minutes of that match talking about Randy Orton's back injury that contributed nothing to the end result of the match.
And when did that even start? When did that become part of this?
Today.
That was a, I think they addressed that because I don't know who put it out, but it was going all over social media as a rumor, like he could be injured or something like that. I don't know who put that out. I think it was like Dave Meltzer or some shit. So, of course.
Okay, fine, sure. If it got put out and it wasn't supposed to, fine, sure. But like, I'm really looking at them like, you didn't even mention the Punk King. You didn't tease it. And even though it's not WWE's video package department's fault, but they really pissed me off in that promo package because, wow, y'all are really going to mention stuff that hadn't been talked about at all. I almost want to claim false advertisement. Yeah. They brought up a Cody Rhodes promo from 2011 or an interview. They ain't talked about
that we have never
Cody
seen, by the way.
Yeah,
that has never been shown.
That was more like 2009 because he was in Legacy when he made that interview.
But like, it's like they never, not one time in the midst of this feud, ever talked about their history. I don't even think the words legacy came out their mouth.
That's because they couldn't decide if this rivalry was Cody versus Pat or Cody versus Randy. And then even on the day of the show, as the match is happening, they still can't decide if it's Cody versus Pat or Cody versus Randy.
Okay, so to add on to G's point, I understand the ending. It might be confusing for certain people. The way I interpreted it and looked at it was they're telling us that this isn't over with. Randy isn't done with Cody, and Cody's not going to have a reason to want to fight Randy again because he just kicked his head off. And especially looking at that black eye now, Cody's going to want probably some redemption or something for that. And Randy obviously kicking Cody in the head. They don't treat the punt kick like they used to. If this was 2009, Cody Rhodes would be gone for like 3 months.
Yeah, he'd be off TV.
And then he would, be back at a big surprise. But I think
them posting that photo pretty much indicates he's not going to be gone for the extended length of time. Or
yeah. That wasn't even a photo. It's a video, actually. It's a video like fixing him backstage. But that's how I interpreted it was Randy is telling us, I'm not done with you. I'm still coming for that title, and I'm going to get that title no matter what. And now Cody is going to have a reason to want to fight Randy again. That's just how I kind of took it. I felt if you had, maybe he could have just hit him with an RKO or something instead of the punt kick. Maybe he could have just, hit him with the title, and then maybe he could have just took the championship himself. Just took it and then walked away with it. And then Cody's now is like, all right, you took my title, not going to go get it back type thing. But I understand the punt kick aspect, because he doesn't do it as much anymore, and they don't treat it as the same opposed to when they first were bringing it on TV. That felt like a big deal. I mean, the punt kick was the most dangerous thing they had in WWE at one point. You know what I mean? You kick with that, your career's over damn near. So
here's the thing. I'm okay with the punt. I'm okay with the promo if that had been what they focused on for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
It's not what they focused on. The last 3 weeks has been 95% about Pat McAfee telling all of us that Randy Orton was going to save WWE. And Pat McAfee had such an intimate, close relationship with Randy Orton that Pat McAfee, not his dad, not Vince McMahon, not Triple H, not anybody, was able to bring this out of Randy Orton. It was Pat McAfee. He is the only guy who could bring this out of Randy Orton and turn Randy Orton into what he used to be. And they are so tight and so close that the first time Randy Orton sees an opportunity, he's going to give him an RKO. Now, you could tell me, well, that just goes into what Malik just said about Randy snapping and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't care about any of that shit right now. What I care about is that either this was about Randy or this was about Pat. And you spent 3 weeks telling me this was about Pat. And then you suddenly want a face card on the night of WrestleMania and change your mind and tell me that it's about Orton. So now it's my fault. As a viewer, now it's my fault. Oh, you don't want to forget about everything that happened with Pat for the last 3 weeks that you wasted all your time and attention on? That's on you. If you don't want to just sit back and enjoy this story, sit back and let it play out, brother. This is wrestling. Let it play out. I hate my da-ba-da-ba-da. No. You don't spend 3 weeks spreading shit on a sandwich and then serve it to me and tell me that it's jelly and expect me to swallow it. I'm sorry.
I do feel you on that. Listen, we all can agree. We don't know why Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll had to be in this. They should have never been nowhere near this feud.
Yeah.
But to G, what he said, I do also think that this could be WWE telling us this is a reset of the feud of what
I pray it is.
Like I think And it's honestly, it's the same issue they had last year with Cena and Cody. It's like they had to reset it. And then what we got at SummerSlam is what we should have had at WrestleMania.
But I guess the thing is, like, and why different, and then I'll kind of like transition because I do want to ask y'all a question. But like with Cena and Cody last year, it gave me a bad taste in my mouth because as somebody who was advocating for the heel turn, obviously we know that bald-headed fraud. We know he messed up everything. He was in Hawaii chilling, right? And then the Travis Scott entrance being, we know how all that went. But it left a bad taste in my mouth because I knew from that moment on, any hopes that we had that this heel turn would be good, even though I do think it turned good once we because the Randy match and the Randy match and Backlash, that was good. The CM Punk stuff, that was good. The R-Truth little mini thing, that everything was good other than like that little period of tagging with Logan Paul. Like that was really the only thing I was like, ooh, I probably would have wasted that, right? But other than that, everything else was good. But it left a bad taste in my mouth because I knew at that point there's nothing you can do in a lot of people's eyes to make this good. This didn't really give me that bad taste in my mouth because I understand it. But if we show up on Friday in Fort Worth and we don't have a promo battle, we don't have a factory reset, I swear if they still talk about some Pat McAfee, and I swear if I see Jelly Roll backstage, I'm gonna be really, really upset. Yeah. They better hope and pray that this is a factory reset. I am willing to let it slide because you know what? Sometimes that's all you can do is factory reset. Sometimes we just gotta say, you know what? I had to do what my boss told me to do. Now that WrestleMania is over, I can go back to doing what this should be. Fine. Whatever. But it better be a reset.
And this is getting a little bit deeper into the subject matter. So I'm just going to say this and then feel free to either respond or redirect, whatever you want to do. But I just feel like I need to say this. Overall and in general, a lot of what happened tonight sort of lends to this belief that I've had and these thoughts that I've had. And I haven't been able to express them on the pod because I haven't been on. But it's been eating away at me for several weeks. Mm-hmm. I don't like the direction that WWE is headed in. I don't like, and it's not just creatively. It's the way they treat their viewers. Mm-hmm. It's the way they treat their talent. It's the way they treat their live fans. Just today, the guy that does, I can't remember his name, but the guy that does the write-ups for WWE grades on ESPN, banned from the show. They didn't let him come in. Didn't give him a reason. He's just not allowed to come in because they knew that tonight's show was going to be what's the word they used tonight that John Cena said? They knew that not everyone was going to like it, polarizing, and they didn't want this guy doing an official write-up. And then I don't know if you guys.
Well, because is it because of the WrestlePalooza one? Because he like ripped him for WrestlePalooza. Yeah.
And then I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. There's this guy I follow on TikTok. His name's G-Fed, and he does tours of NFL arenas and baseball stadiums and whatnot. He's already been banned from NFL arenas because one of the challenges that he does, and he said before, he accepts the consequences for his actions because he knows what he does sometimes is he'll go to a game and then when the game ends, he'll set a timer and see how long he can stay in that arena without getting kicked out, right? The NFL didn't like that, and they banned him from all their NFL games, and he understands that. But he went to WrestleMania last year. This year, he buys an $800 floor-seat ticket down in the pit section. He's there for one match. WWE sends security out to kick him out after they took his money. And he said, oh, am I going to get my ticket back for the ticket? Well, no, probably not. So they'll take his $1,000 that he spent to get in there, let him get in and pretend like everything's fine. And then they're using it as an excuse of, oh, you posted a video on social media that we didn't authorize when everyone else in the arena is doing that. So they let the guy cash in $1,000, let his friend that he was with cash in $1,000, let him get in there, and then as soon as you get the first opportunity, keep his money and kick him out. Those are just two things that happened just today. But the mistreatment of the talent, treating their fans like they're idiots, gouging ticket prices, changing pay-per-view plans, and now giving a wrestling fans holiday in WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia next year. And I know there are wrestling fans in Saudi Arabia. I understand that. But with everything going on in that part of the world, that's not where a wrestling show belongs right now. And that is just being completely taken from us at this point. And every day, and do you guys remember 3 years ago or whatever, we did a podcast about how excited we were for Triple H and for the future? That seems like so long ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because my kid loves WWE and I watch it with him. And he doesn't know about all this stuff that bother. All he knows is he sees it on screen, and they're superheroes to him, and that's what wrestling is. It's real life superheroics, and it's engaging and it's fun. And the thing that I love about wrestling, and the thing that I used to love about wrestling, is that fans come together as a family for the shows, and WWE treated you like a family when you came and watched the show. And there is such a disconnect between WWE or TKO, whoever you want to blame it on, and the people that are at home and the people that are live in the crowd. And it just feels like WWE have now reached a point, or TKO has now reached a point, where their business model is, you idiots are going to keep paying, so we're just going to do whatever we want. And it depresses the fuck out of me.
I think that's kind of been the WWE's method for a long time. Even if you look at those later 2010s, early 2020s, when Vince was still around, it was like, they were still doing the worst things possible, but they still knew people would go to the shows at the end of the day. Now, the ticket prices weren't as high, but they still knew they get the viewers.
Right. But it's like, if you can't have bad creative and high ticket prices at the same time, especially is in the thing that's, and this will for real be the last thing I say about it. The thing that's so frustrating is like, this time it's like we really don't know who to blame. Because on one end, yes, TKO, you're the reason you brought up Pat McAfee. One thing that Triple H has never struggled with is his main event. His men's main event has never been an issue for Triple H since he's taken over. Now, one time he'll have the men's tag team will look really good on SmackDown, horrible on Raw. Oh my gosh, you fixed the women's tag team. But your women's make art is trash. Like there's he never has it all good at the same time. But one thing that's never struggled is his main event. So I don't think Triple H, would make the decision to put Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll in here. But this is also the same guy that decided, yeah, we don't need to have Milo or EO or Asuka on WrestleMania. So it's like the on one hand, I don't know who to blame at times. Sometimes it's Triple H, sometimes it's don't know who to blame. But nevertheless, whoever we're blaming, you can't have ticket prices through the roof like we in inflation and giving me quality that almost makes me want to stop watching your shows.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who I've religiously said and have not been ashamed to mention, I watched every single episode of Raw and every single episode of SmackDown through 2019 and through the pandemic, before the Thunderdome.
Me too.
I vividly remember when Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks stopped wrestling mid-match for a commercial break. I vividly remember those days. I remember Stone Cold coming out talking about give me a hell yeah to seats. And then I remember when they brought the NXT people up and had them banging on tempered glass.
Yeah.
Before that Thunderdome, like, I know it's easy to think, before that Thunderdome, we was in dark times. And they was actually, ironically enough, they actually told some good stories. Seth Rollins, his Monday Night Messiah gimmick would have hit so good in front of a crowd. He was doing that in front of nobody. So I remember those times. And right now, SmackDown, that go-home show for SmackDown, almost like, I didn't think it was possible for a show right before WrestleMania to make, like, how like usually stuff is supposed to progress the story. I feel like it made things regress.
It felt like 2019 Raw.
Like, I don't care that they were there for the Hall of Fame. You're in the middle of a blood feud. Both of you are, but one of them actually made you bleed, Cody. The other one is just hate. And y'all decided in your last segment before your WrestleMania, your 2-night WrestleMania, for Cody and CM Punk to just love on each other and cry? Are we serious? You got through. Like Roman Reigns literally just dropped like 3 different interviews and promos, calling you old and calling you suck and saying that you couldn't carry the company the way I can. So he's got to come back and save this. Like you aren't worthy of it. Like, and Cody, you obviously, granted, Pat McAfee, it is what it is, but you've been laid out by them every week. I don't think you stood tall once. And y'all cried together and told each other y'all love each other. That's what, and it was a 20-minute segment, mind you. That's how you, like, that's what y'all decide to do. You
talked about remembering 2020, but I remember 2019. I remember Rusev, Lana, and Lashley. I remember Lashley's sisters. I remember the electric chair. I remember Kofi's booking as WWE champion. I remember Constable Corbin. The thing is,
the gingerbread man, gingerbread, bro.
I was about to say, I remember the dog costume and the dog food, and the gingerbread man sent me back there.
And it wasn't even Yachty. I really thought that was Yachty up under there.
Here's the thing: the reason that 2019 didn't drive me away as a wrestling fan is because I knew exactly who to blame. I knew Vince McMahon was going senile. He was going crazy. But I knew if I just held on for a little bit. Now, did I think it was going to be what it was that drove Vince McMahon out? No, not in a million years. But I knew if I could just hang on for a little bit longer, Vince was going to be out of there, Triple H was going to take over, and everything was going to be good again. But the fact that I hung on through Lashley's sisters and the electric chair and the dog food and Rusev and Lana and Kofi's booking and Lacey Evans and farting Natalia and whatever else you want to say, I survived all of that to get to this point, only to feel the same way that I felt in 2019 on an episode of SmackDown. That's when you start to lose me a little bit, because Triple H doesn't have an excuse. TKO doesn't have an excuse. At this point, bad booking is just bad booking. There's no senile old man that's changing plans at the end of the day. Not that we know of anyway. Right. No excuse. No excuse for Sami Zayn to be out there booting a gingerbread man on the Friday before WrestleMania. No excuse for Cody and CM Punk to be having a promo that equates to softcore porn on the night before WrestleMania. No fucking excuse to bring back Royce Keys for a squash match last week and then have him come in and win the fucking Battle Royal this week when you could have just brought him in as a surprise.
Which I would have much rather that main event. I would have much rather the Andre the Giant Battle Royal main event than watching Cody and CM Punk do what they did.
Yep.
I do have a question for y'all, though. I do want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So based on this result for Cody, and Cody winning, retaining, does whoever you thought was winning tomorrow's main event, does that make you more confident they're winning or less confident they're winning? Because Jade, I don't know who you picked.
Malik, you go first. We've been talking for a while.
I'd say more confident.
And you picked Roman, right?
Yeah. I said that I think they want Roman and Cody to both be champions. They haven't had it yet.
And because Cody won, you think you're more confident with it?
I would say so, because they could. I still think we get a Cody and Punk story at some point. Like, I think that's inevitable to happen at some point. And I think with Braun Breaker now being back and all this stuff with the Vision, I think they want him to be the world champion. Because I don't know if y'all saw that stuff that that's been rumored, but supposedly, Paul Heyman said that the original main event of WrestleMania were going to be Roman and Seth, and then Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for the world title. So I think they want Braun to be world champion by this year. And we talked about before last week, I think Braun will get much more effect beating Roman than he would CM Punk. I mean, beating CM Punk would be a big deal, but he beats Roman Reigns. That to me should tell everybody this is going to be, if not the guy, he's going to be one of the WrestleMania main event guys that we're building around for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying, you know how I feel about CM Punk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, and if I had been on the pod after it happened, I would have said this. The closest that I have ever come to Punk almost drawing me back in, he didn't. But the closest that I've come to CM Punk drawing me back in since he came back to AEW 5 years ago was the Pat McAfee TKO pipe bomb on Raw a couple weeks ago. When I watched that, I found myself smiling, and I had to be like, nope, that's still CM Punk. That's still CM Punk. So anyway, I'm putting that to the side. So I still think Roman is going to win. It does make me slightly less confident because one of the main reasons that I thought Roman was going to win is because based on, and maybe it's still going to happen, I'm just slightly more confused on how it happens now. But based on the promos that McAfee and Punk and Cody were exchanging in that little triangle they were having for a while, is it really sold me on the idea that we're going to get maybe leading up to SummerSlam, a TKO versus WWE storyline. Maybe not necessarily booked as TKO versus WWE, but guys that are more, company guys like Roman
right.
versus guys that are more fan-oriented like Cody and LA Knight and CM Punk.
Right.
But now that Pat McAfee's eating an RKO from Randy, I don't fucking know how that all plays out now. Maybe it still does. I just don't think Roman loses 2 WrestleManias in a row. That's really all I have left to lean on at this point. Is that I don't think they'll have Roman lose 2 WrestleManias in a row. And also, I honestly think they are trying to they they are the New England Patriots at the end of a 52-7 blowout in 2007 with Roman Reigns. They are trying to pad the score. They want Roman Reigns to be the best of all time. So they're going to give him that World Heavyweight Championship because he hasn't had it yet. So now he can say he had the Universal, he had the WWE, and he had the World Heavyweight. So there's a number of reasons why I still pick Roman to win this match. My disdain for CM Punk notwithstanding. So I'm still going to go with him.
I also feel, before you go, Roman wins because I really could see Braun winning King of the Ring and taking the world title from Roman at SummerSlam. And now that Braun's back, I'm not gonna lie, he gonna have to kind of play catch up now with Oba because since Braun been gone, Oba been moving up. He been now the guy everybody's been talking about. I don't know if Braun Breaker should be the guy anymore. I think it might have to be that guy. So,
which, by the way, you guys don't want me on this pod tomorrow if Brock beats Oba. I'm just saying. Hey,
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my god.
I mean,
it'll ruin. It might be a bottom 5 WrestleMania because the rest of night 2 is going to be ruined if Brock Lesnar wins. Because it's the first match. If Brock Lesnar wins tomorrow, it'll ruin the rest of the show. Like I thought it was ruined at 30 night 2 when Finn Balor lost to that Concerto. Demon Finn Balor can win in 15 seconds, breaking the record, and it wouldn't matter. I'd be so heated. I might turn off the show.
I was just about to say that, G. If Brock wins, I don't know if I will have it in me, the patience
to watch the rest. Yeah.
To watch the rest of the show. I honestly don't.
Like I will tell somebody to tag me when the main event starts. Because I'll probably still tune in that. But to answer the question that I asked, so I said I was going back and forth every day because I could see if they wanted to establish Punk because Malik said he doesn't feel like CM Punk Roman Reigns is losing 2 main events in a row. Well, I kind of felt the same way about CM Punk. CM Punk is finally a main eventer, and he's actually main eventing night 2 now instead of night 1. Are you really going to have him lose that one? That's what I was thinking. And I was like, Roman will be fine because Roman can just go back on his yacht, right? Because even if he wins the title, he ain't going to be there every month. He ain't going to be there every week. And at least CM Punk will, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking, right? And I didn't know if WWE or honestly me personally, if I could tolerate another part-time world champion. I just don't know if I want to go back to that. Like Roman, I don't hate on Roman's reign. I think Roman Reigns was great. I just don't know if I want to see that again. I like seeing my world champions on TV. However, the way this nigga been talking in these interviews, obviously we know ever since he became the Tribal Truth, there's more realism behind it. He's kind of being more himself. The way this nigga talking in these interviews, bro, I think that shit he be saying, he mean that shit. Like, I think he really feels, I literally carried this company, brought us into, and the people who are supposed to carry it aren't doing their job. Like, remember when John Cena told Roman Reigns, "Fine, I'm still here because you can't do your job." I genuinely feel like that's what Roman thinks. I genuinely feel like low key that's what TKO might think.
I think Roman genuinely thinks that. I will say that if he does think that, that's bullshit.
I mean it in the sense like maybe not like shitting on everybody because I think he has like he might hate CM Punk. I think he has respect for like Cody. I think he has respect for Cody, and then we know him and Seth. Even though on screen they hate each other, we know him and Seth boys, right? So I think he got respect for him and all that stuff. But like the way he be talking in these interviews about like why he's back and why he won the Rumble, I really feel like they're gonna give him that title. And now that Cody won, ideally, right? Because we know how Triple H likes to book. Wherever it is, whether it's in Saudi or whether they move it back to New Orleans, I think next year's WrestleMania, I think they're gonna do their darndest to run back Roman and Seth like it should have been this year, because they have no problem running back main events that they were trying to do the year before. I think they're gonna run Roman and Seth. I think they're gonna run Cody and Punk, and I think they're gonna run Braun and Oba. Because I do agree with Malik. I think Braun is winning the title. I think Braun is winning the title first, and I think Oba's gonna get his Mania moment and winning the title. I think they're gonna run Roman and Seth again. I don't want to hear about The Rock. If that's what I don't know if that's what.
Yeah, that's what that's plays a factor into it.
Yeah. But I don't want to hear about. I don't want to.
So it depends. If it's in New Orleans, then I can feel you.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, because they're genuinely talking about moving WrestleMania because of everything going on.
Yeah.
So if they move it to NOLA, I really feel like we're gonna get Roman, Seth, Cody, Punk, because Cody and Punk was supposed to happen this year. Roman, Seth was supposed to happen this year. Or no, it wasn't Cody Punk. It wasn't Cody Punk. It was Braun. Yeah, you're right. And then I think we're gonna get Braun over, because those are 3 matches you can headline WrestleMania with.
I don't know if they're gonna give us Braun and Oba that fast though. That's the thing.
They might, if it just because the only thing is who wins that title first. Because I know they want Braun to be a champion, and if Oba beats Brock, this is all contingent on the opener for night 2 tomorrow. If Oba beats Brock, I don't see how he doesn't win a world title soon. Like I will give them the grace of waiting 365 days. I will let them wait till next year's WrestleMania to put a title on there. Because after you beat Brock, I'm sorry, this last thing. After you beat Brock, where do you go from there? Like, you beat Brock in your first, like, because he really ain't even been debuted that long. He ain't had a proper match with anybody. He been squashing everyone. You beat Brock off rip. And all the legends you can technically feed him are in feuds right now. You can't feed him Cody. You can't feed him CM Punk. You can't feed him maybe Seth. You can maybe feed him Seth, but Braun is back now. So I don't know how long they can sit there and not give him the title.
Yeah. By the way, Chad, I don't give a fuck what Nick Khan is saying right now. If there's still a war happening in the Middle East this summer, they have to consider moving it.
And they said they were going to wait till the summer to decide.
Yeah, but somebody in chat said Nick Khan confirmed WrestleMania. That's not a confirmation. That's what they plan on doing.
Yeah, that's still the plan. But
you can't wait until next April to make that decision. If that war is still happening,
there's so many logistics that you have to figure out.
You got to move it. So
if they have Crown Jewel this year, then
if
they have Crown Jewel started this year, I think.
For what it's worth, too, to G's point, this is all I have to say about any of that. For what it's worth, my opinion, I think you keep Oba and Braun as far away from each other as you possibly can. I don't think
the same brand right now. That's why I said.
G, how do I feel about the?
Oh, shut up! You're right.
Please remind me how
really matter.
You're right.
I do not give a shit about the brand split, but I think you build them up as 2 pillars separately. Now, eventually, those 2 pillars fall and meet, right? But especially, I'm going to say a couple years. Maybe you tease it here and there in the Rumble or whatever, but I think you keep Braun and Oba as far away from each other as humanly possible for a while.
I agree. I just don't know what you're going to do with Oba after this. Assuming he wins. He loses, he's done. I'm done with WWE. This might be the but. If he wins, I don't know what you do with him after. There's nobody else you could put him with, because all the other guys, I would tell you, because like Brock Lesnar's rookie year, all those legends you can feed them, there's nobody, because everybody's in a feud right now. Braun Breaker's with Seth, Roman and Punk. I I'm fully confident they will have more than one match. If it's and new, we're gonna have more than one match. Cody and Randy are still in the feud based off of the way they just ended this. So who else do you give them? And I don't want to see them run 3 matches. I don't want to see Brock and Oba run 3. No, so I just don't know what you do with him after.
I think there's different things you could do. I think you keep Oba and Braun separate for a minute. I could see Braun winning King of the Ring, and then I could see Oba winning Money in the Bank, honestly. And then they just have him with that briefcase.
I would rather flip it. If me personally, I would flip it. Oba doesn't seem like right now, just the way they're presenting him. Braun Breaker is a little bit more believable to like just come spear you out of nowhere and cash in. Oba, he's going to announce that. He's going to announce
that. I think they could announce an Oba cash in where he's like, they could set that up for WrestleMania or something. Like a WrestleMania, but depending on who the champions are by next year, of course, they could set that up.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually an interesting concept. Like, I win the Money in the Bank. Hey, guess what? I'm cashing in at WrestleMania. Like you're basically getting around the Rumble. I actually like that.
Like, Oba pretty much tells everybody, I'm the main event. Like, I'm going to cash in at WrestleMania and be the main event. And his cash in, announcing it ahead of time, would be believable because we, looking at his presentation, could believe that he could beat whoever he's facing. So I think they could do it like that. You know, Braun wins King of the Ring. He beats world champion. And then if you have Braun going to Mania as world champion, and then Oba goes after the WWE championship, now you have your 2 guys who legit could be 2 megastars for the company for the next 10 years as your top champions. I think that would be a smart way to do it. Also with another reason I forgot to add this to, another reason I'm confident that Roman's winning. He literally said in an interview that if he loses, he don't belong in WWE anymore. So that kind of really told me.
Oh, he did say that.
He did say that shit.
Yeah.
Kind of really told me. I'm like, all right, well,
yeah,
that's
which, by the way, just again, for what it's worth, I think my official prediction is, again, God, I'm so fucking nervous I think I'm more nervous about this match at the start of tomorrow than I have been for any match, at least since Cody Roman 2. Like,
I mean, I will say though, for me personally, this is different than certain matches. I personally don't think there's a wrong winner in this match. Either guy winning is fine with me. Like, I don't think you have a wrong decision, depending on. Of course, when it comes to booking, WWE does some stupid shit. You know, of course, when it.
Wait, are you talking about Roman Punk, or are you talking about
Roman Punk?
Okay. That's fine. No, I agree. I thought you were talking about Oba Brock. I was like, wait, what?
No, yeah, Roman Punk. I don't think there's a wrong decision.
Yeah, no, I agree. My point was what I was trying, and I was long-winded, but what I was trying to say is, this is all hinging on Oba winning versus Brock again.
Oba needs to win more than anybody.
Oba loses, all bets are off. But if Oba wins like he should, I think what's the most likely outcome is that Braun is immediately ejected into world title scenarios, King of the Ring, whatever. I think Oba probably targets whoever wins that ladder match tomorrow. Because
taking like the Gunther route. So taking like the Gunther route of a dominant IC reign.
No, because he can't.
Yeah, because think about it. Nobody in that match.
That's the hard part.
Maybe with the exception of Javon Evans, maybe, but nobody in that match really is a candidate for get that title and keep it for a long time.
Going after Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I was just about to say Rey Mysterio literally said they were trying to retire me. I wasn't ready. That's why they didn't do the Gunther match.
It could be Rey. Rey's a perfect candidate to get that WrestleMania moment, and then a month later drop it to Oba. He's a perfect candidate. Listen, I know that the only reason they did it is because he's definitely not winning that ladder match tomorrow. But I'd be all up for Rusev winning that ladder match, and then we do Rusev versus Oba. That would kick ass.
You know who would be a really good opponent for Oba right now if he was still there? Sheamus.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah, Sheamus.
Yeah.
Sheamus would be a really
What happened to Sheamus? Is he injured?
He's injured right now. But Sheamus doesn't really have to win. And he would get Oba over extremely well because Sheamus is very physical in his matches. So, this would be that would be, that's right there, man.
I wish Sheamus was in this ladder match, honestly. But yeah, anyway.
Or honestly, you could just go ahead and feed him Drew. He loses everybody. So
I think whoever wins this ladder match tomorrow, I think loses the title at Backlash to Oba. And then Oba just carries that Intercontinental title around, beats everybody. And honestly, I think Oba eventually probably goes the Oscar route. I think eventually he surrenders the Intercontinental. I don't think he loses it. I think he surrenders it.
See, if WWE was a real nigga, they would have Oba come out after the main event. After Roman wins, he just come out.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. As soon as Roman wins the title in the main event, Oba the music hit, and he come out and they did that little stare down the ring. That would be some crazy shit right there. Like that would be fine. But they ain't gonna do that. Of course not. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. But I like if when Sheamus comes back, I like Oba and Sheamus because that's an easy guy that Oba can obviously beat. And the type of matches they can imagine Oba and Sheamus like in a Donnybrook match. Oh my gosh, that would be like.
No, I don't know why they didn't do this in NXT, but if Oba's gonna hold his IC title for a year, then it's him and Javon, bro. Javon should have been the one to beat him for the NXT title. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why it was Ricky Saints. Me personally, I get Ricky Saints might be doing some good work. That turned me off to NXT and Ricky Saints for a minute. I hated that decision.
This was Shawn Michaels talked about it. I mean, Triple H and Shawn just had a little interview together that I watched. This year was supposed to be Javon's year. Like this year was supposed to be his year, but then they took it from him. So,
but he should have. It should have been the year before. He should have been the one to beat Oba. I don't know why it was Ricky Saints. That was stupid to me. Like I legit, genuinely hated that decision.
I agree. I didn't like it either.
Because that boy bouncy, bro.
Especially to a DDT. I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because then Oba just won it back later to face Cody. That could have easily been Javon.
Yeah, I didn't. So, I will agree with you on the aspect of I did not like the fact that Oba lost to Ricky Saints, and that kind of felt weird. But
it did feel weird.
We really felt like it was just they were trying to.
We moving on to different stuff with Brock Lesnar now. You know what I mean? So we leveling up. We leveling up. I do feel like with Oba, there's certain people because I have certain feuds in my head that would be good for Oba, but it's like there's certain people that you also have to protect that kind of can't lose right now. Because I was
if he wins the IC title, that's okay because he can
run
the Gunther route.
Anybody, I was about to say, anybody in that IC title match can lose at Backlash.
Yeah. He can run through. But I'm saying if they don't do that and they want to keep him up top, like you said, I mean, there's people that he could beat, but everybody's kind of in a feud.
I mean, Drew McIntyre.
Well, he about to go film this movie, I think. So he about to be gone for a little bit.
Do you think
who else is in the main event?
You can't put him against Jacob because you kind of protect Jacob a little bit.
Solo.
You can't put him against. You can't put him against Gunther because Gunther.
Why not Gunther? I was about to say, what about Gunther?
Well, because he's gonna have Gunther retire Brock.
Matter of fact, we talked about Braun winning this title. We know how Triple H like to book. We know Seth and Braun are going all the way to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Gunther, how long do we see him not holding the title again? Like, how long is it before he wins another title?
It'll be a minute.
Because he's doing the career killer gimmick, but ain't that many careers he got left to kill. Because Rey Mysterio already said he not doing it. Like, Rey Mysterio already said, I'm not ready to retire. And if he is going to retire, he's going to retire to his son.
You could stretch that. You could stretch that out for a minute because Randy was legend killer for a minute, but he wasn't always killing like legends all the time, though. So like you could.
But like, I guess one, everything's dependent on Oba, and two, I guess Cody winning is throwing me for a loop. Like, I really didn't think he was going to retain, and then it's like, so then who beats him? I mean, I'm assuming it's still Randy, but like, and then after that, who beats Randy? Like that. Honestly, I'm trying to see the end game.
You could have Oba beat Randy. Why not? If Randy, if they do what I just said, if Randy goes on this course where he just becomes so diabolical and unbeatable, you match him up against Oba. That's the guy right there. Who could beat this version of Randy Orton? Who can stop this new apex predator, Randy Orton, at the most dangerous level possible? Oba Femi steps up. Yeah, I'm the guy.
I mean, I feel you. Maybe they just gotta like.
Ooh, that would be great. SummerSlam. Ooh, come on, man.
I mean, I guess they gotta tell the story a little longer because right now, Oba being Randy is just kind of like, that's cool.
To G's point a little bit too, though, with Gunther, they've kind of booked themselves into a corner because at this point, how many big time matches does Gunther need to win in a row before he's back in the world title picture? He's beaten Seth at WrestleMania. He retired Cena. He retired AJ. He retired Goldberg. That man's on the run of a lifetime. At what point does he get rewarded with a world title match?
Because technically, he never got a title match after. See, that's the other thing too. They could, because technically he never got a title match when he came back. The last person to beat him, CM Punk. If CM Punk retains, there's your next. You know, I don't know, man.
I feel like they have all the way. If he is going to retire Brock at SummerSlam, then you have all the way now to SummerSlam to do stuff with Gunther. So you got things you could fill in with that. After SummerSlam, though.
Oh, I forgot about the retirement. I guess because I just need to see. I forgot about it because I need to see Brock Lesnar lose. Because I promise you, if Oba,
I think he's losing. I don't think he's winning.
I mean, I think he is too, man. But shit,
I think from now to SummerSlam, if you're gonna have Gunther retire Brock, all you have to do is just do filler stuff with him. You know, he could fight Ray and all that stuff. Then after SummerSlam, then I would feel like, okay, then where do we go from here? Because now he's retired Brock. And if you have Braun as your world champion, now your new world champion, and let's say
I don't know if he's title. Well, I guess I don't know if Braun's gonna be world champion because I feel like him and this Seth feud is gonna be forever.
I don't think it's gonna be that long.
How long you think it's gonna be? Because they stretch out. Bro, you know how long Seth and CM Punk were feuding for? And then subsequently, you know how long
they added Gunther to this too, so I could see Seth and Gunther doing a little something still too.
I could see it going either way, but honestly, Malik, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with Team Seth versus Team Vision at War Games.
Oh, that's for sure what they're gonna do. That's for sure what they're gonna do.
Who's on the teams? Who's on the teams?
It's gonna be Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and a fifth versus Seth Rollins. Jey Uso will probably be involved.
Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Obafemi.
Oh my god!
Oh
my god! Yeah, bro. Division is gonna be in War Games, bro. There's always a faction around, and the only faction around right now that's worth something is Division when everybody's healthy.
The Judgment Day can't run War Games because they're mostly women now. So I mean,
right? I mean, they could run the women's War Games,
right?
But and then the MFTs. You want to see the MFTs? You want to see the MFTs or the Wyatts in the War Games?
Assuming that the Judgment Day will still be, I don't know if they still be together by then. I ain't gonna lie,
they might not be.
I think Raquel getting out. She gonna be the one to beat Liv. I think they're gonna. At least they should. They should give her a little rub, man. She's actually improved so much and coming back. Like
also, listen here's the thing. We'll go ahead and talk about this now. I'm old enough to remember. This is back when I was making TikTok videos. How long ago this was? I'm old enough to remember when I was on TikTok calling the Judgment Day a failed experiment. And honestly, when at the end of the day, when all is said and done, when you're having conversations about the greatest factions in WWE history, maybe you don't say the Judgment Day is the one, but you got to put them up there at this point. I mean, all the world championships they've won, all the IC titles, all the tag team titles, the longevity, how they've been able to change around and change members and keep going. And now Liv Morgan is won this title at Mania. Rhea Ripley won a title at Mania. Damian Priest won a title at Mania. The Judgment Day at Mania might be the most successful faction in WWE history. Man, every member of that faction.
Way to make Finn Balor seem so minuscule in that group, man.
But even Finn Balor was in that Fatal 4-Way, and Finn Balor, even though he didn't win, he had the big Hell in a Cell match with Edge that he absolutely should have won.
You know what this means, though, honestly.
But my point is, it's about time, I think, for the Judgment Day to be put out to pasture. But
yeah, I think of course.
When all is said and done, though, I don't want to minimize that because the Judgment Day has been one of the most consistently entertaining parts of Raw for the better part of 3-4 years now. So
we're talking about all these potential world champions. Like you're looking at Braun, Oba, they're gonna have to be champions. Gunther.
Talk about Dom.
Gunther might have to be back in there at some point. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know about like the Doms. LA Knight, he cooked for sure. I don't care.
LA Knight's cooked. He's done.
I'm not lying.
Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn.
Once they took over AAA, that Dom world title shit over with. I'm not gonna lie. He gonna be running AAA. He ain't doing shit on the main roster.
As of right now, I don't think so. Right now, yeah, I don't see it right now.
Too many people have passed him for that to happen.
Yeah, because Braun and Oba, I think will get it before him for sure. I can see Gunther getting another reign before him.
CM Punk, I think, is gonna get another reign too. I think he's gonna be Cody next year. So there's too many people around.
Punk and Cody. But you guys couldn't see Dom, maybe Liv helping Dom get a title win over a CM Punk. Let's say CM Punk wins at some point, and then Dom holds the title for a month and then drops it to Oba or something.
Well, so here's my thing, Jade. I already don't like that the Demon Finn Balor is coming back for Dominic Mysterio because the Demon should not have to be back for Dominic Mysterio. So anytime Dominic Mysterio is winning main event matches, I feel like it makes the person who lost to Dominic Mysterio look way worse. It's even though they might have improved. It's like I'll use a basketball reference. Let's just say the Phoenix Suns actually improve and they have a good roster and they win 50 games. I'm glad you improved. I'm glad you was hooping this year. OKC, you shouldn't lose to them ever a day in your life. And if you do, I'm looking at you. You no longer have the presence you had. OKC, you're no longer a threat to me because I just saw you lose to Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks. If any main event guy loses to Dominic Mysterio, because now the way they presented him, he can't win anything on his own unless he's in Mexico. So if you're losing to Dominic Mysterio, you suck. And you don't deserve to be in the main event.
I will say that the AAA involvement with WWE is super interesting to me because that is a conversation in and of itself. Like the Grandes, their roles in AAA are the complete opposite of what they are on Raw and SmackDown.
Complete opposite.
Original Americano is the one getting the cheers and the olays and all that shit on SmackDown. But when Ludwig was cutting his challenge to OG Americano on AAA, that place lost their fucking mind.
Yeah,
they love new Americano.
OG Americano in Mexico was like the devil.
Like, so
they love Bravo and Rayo. Like, it's so crazy. And I think they were smart when they said, you know what, let's just let them cook over there in Mexico. Stop doing
the only AAA act who gets the same reactions on Raw and SmackDown as he does on AAA is Iguana. Outside of that, it's really interesting to see. But we've seen, again, Dom, really, if they were going to do something with Dom, it should have been last summer. Because we saw how that crowd reacted when he won the IC title at WrestleMania.
Right.
He had the momentum last year, and they just didn't pull the trigger. So, but
then he was hurt for a little bit. He lost it to Cena, got it back.
Yeah.
And then we thought they were going to lose it to Finn, and then just lost it to Penta. Right. And I was like, okay.
So what's before we head off, what's y'all feelings going in tonight too, man? Feelings and thoughts and predictions.
Well, other than everything is contingent on the first match,
that opening match.
But if I let's just say Oba wins and we can get past that. Okay, cool. We got past that. Demon better not lose. Please have a good match, because if you don't, you're just gonna be in a lose-lose situation with the J Fusion Collective.
I mean, based on how the crowd was tonight, I think they kind of already cooked, to be honest. Good.
At least if it's a good match, and based on today, they might not let them go past 12 minutes. You know, Rhea might get the extra 2, but if they can just like kick into second gear, I think they'll be fine. But either way, it's like I said, I'm gonna say it one more time. They're in a lose-lose situation because either the Jade Fusion Collective beats Rhea, and now Rhea, you look like a bum because you lost to the Jade Fusion Collective, or B, Rhea 1v3 is the Jade Fusion Collective, thus rendering that group useless.
They're in a no-win situation.
So, in order for and because someone just said it, if Sami fucking Zayn retains this fucking title, that's the second thing that'll piss me off for the rest of the show. If Oba loses, I'm not watching. If Trick loses, I'm done. The Demon, I'm not gonna lie, that also might make me stop watching wrestling. Like, I might take a break.
Yeah. There is a potential overall for night 2 to end up being even worse booked than night 2 of WrestleMania 39. There's a lot of big ifs on this show. Couple things I want to say about night 2. First of all, G, the more I think about it, the more I get nervous, because Oba and Brock is their selling match for the first hour being live on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And the casual viewer is going to know Brock a lot more than they know Oba.
Jade, don't
And
do it to me, man.
Dude, I'm so fucking the entire
I
night.
think that's important though too. I think if the casual viewers see Oba beat Brock, that makes the casual viewers look at Oba like, who's this guy? Okay,
that's literally what I'm praying for.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm telling myself. Trick either needs to win, or they need to do a complete double turn, and Sammy just needs to go ballistic on Trick. I'd be happy with either one, honestly. I know, G, how you feel about Sammy, but if Trick isn't going to win, they need to go all in on the double turn, and Sammy just needs to go ballistic. So that one of those two things needs to happen. I am extremely, extremely, extremely nervous about Jade and Rhea because I get the same feeling with Jade and Rhea that I got with Tiffany and Charlotte several years ago, and that is that they just straight up don't like each other. The chemistry is just not there. The best moment of this entire feud was when they recycled what Gunther did to Jimmy Uso a couple of years ago, and Jade beat up EO in the middle of the ring. That's been the best moment of this feud. Outside of that, there has been no chemistry there. G is right. The Jade Fusion Collective is the worst faction I think I've ever seen in my life, because why would you beat up on these two losers for months at a time and then decide I'm going to put together a faction and those two losers are going to be in my faction? It drives me up a fucking wall. And then outside of what am I forgetting? Outside of Roman versus Cody, what else is happening tomorrow?
Ladder match, the Demon.
The ladder match is going to cook. The ladder match is going to be the match of the night. And honestly, that match, I don't care who wins. That is fine.
I kind of do. It better not be Rey Mysterio.
The Demon and Dom, I'm okay with the Demon, G, because it's been more about, it's not about it's necessary for me to bring the Demon out. It's that you brought the Demon out of me. So I'm okay with the way they're telling that story. But
one beat down though.
but the Demon was cooked 3 years ago. So honestly, they're playing with house money at this point. And then the main event, I think, is going to be successful no matter what. The only thing I didn't like about this build was, and it was okay in the moment, but when you look at everything that happened before, and then you look at everything that happened on ESPN and online after, that promo with CM Punk about Roman, where they just talked about how much they respected each other, seems very out of place. And so this build, even though it's probably the better of the two builds, but that's like comparing a mountain of gold to a pile of shit, honestly, with the world title picture. Even that has been fairly inconsistent. So now I'm not sure what to expect out of that. But
yeah, they told that story in reverse. Like, every segment was fine, but I would have flipped some orders. Like, honestly, the segment they ended with on Raw is probably what I would have started with. Like, or actually, I still would have started with, I'm picking you because I hate you. I would have started with that. Then I would have got to, hey, this is the reasons why I hate you. Because you have this connection with the crowd that I can't deny. And realistically, that makes sense, Roman, why you would hate him for that. Because you were here, you tried to connect with them, and they hated you for years.
Yeah.
I understand that. Also, on the flip side, I understand CM Punk hating Roman Reigns for all the opportunities he's got and how many main events he has, because CM Punk got to fight, scratch a claw for that. That was great. That would have been week 2. You can have the spearing each other through a table, and then you have the I'm gonna bury you next to your dad. Yeah. That's how I would have. Get rid of the old crap. I don't care. I would have cut that.
And by the way, in storyline, the reason that Roman finally snapped on CM Punk was at the behest of Jay, and then Jay is yeeting with LA Knight and I Show Speed at WrestleMania. So yeah, this build has been very inconsistent. It feels like somebody different wrote every segment with the Punk and Roman stuff. So even though the individual segments on their own in a bubble were good, they don't connect together in any real meaningful way. So I'm worried about that. But anyway, so night 2, I'm very worried about night 2 because there's so many places it could go wrong. So many places.
Like, I don't think anything on night 1 had a bad decision.
Somebody posted on Twitter that Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39 went 24 minutes. All the women's matches combined on WrestleMania Saturday went 24 minutes. That's crazy.
Becky and Bianca, I know at least 120 or like 15 to 20. Like this is that's horrible.
What's a better feud, Cody and Randy or Becky and the Ref?
Becky versus the Ref. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Becky versus the Ref. Because at least there's consistency.
Yeah.
Oba squashes Roman for the title. I don't know about a squash.
I don't know about a squash.
No. I don't squash.
This is for me and G because we watch AEW. This is a super chat. Thoughts on Darby versus MJF ending? Don't hate the fact Darby Allin won.
I mean, I saw it. I have thoughts on that too, but go ahead.
Don't hate the fact Darby Allin won. I mean, we've said it up here before. If he hadn't go climb that mountain, I think he would have been champion before.
It would have been him instead of Hangman.
But the squash, though, like MJF coming off beating Kenny Omega, and then he gets squashed by Darby Allin. Him beating him the way he did with the headlock takeover thing, that was cool because that's part of the story. I just don't like the fact that the squash aspect, like he gets squashed by Darby Allin after just putting on a match with Kenny Omega, a competitive match with Kenny Omega.
Yeah. That's my biggest problem with it is the inconsistency in the storytelling. Kenny Omega gave MJF his best, couldn't beat him. It was Hangman Page, right? MJF defended against before that. Hangman Page gave MJF his best, couldn't beat him. But he can't kick out of a few coffin drops, which is just a guy falling on you.
And especially because this is a company that will give you 8 finishers and still kick out a no sell.
Oh yeah.
Your top star, one of your top stars, literally no sells everything.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me, after everything we done seen at MJF and all the matches, you know what? Screw all of that. Your top title match should not be going 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like, and unless it's like for example, if Oba and Brock was main eventing for the world title and that went 4 minutes, that's a different story. Because of the style. You need that. MJF is not that style at all. I've seen him do 60-minute Iron Man matches with Bryan Danielson. It's not his style. Darby Allin couldn't beat Miro.
Yeah. And
Darby Allin couldn't beat Samoa Joe. Darby Allin couldn't beat Wardlow. But he can beat the culmination of Darby Allin finally getting that world title. And that's the match you put on?
I was just about to say, Darby has been around since the beginning. He's been around for 7 years in AEW. And the timing of this mystifies me. All of the opportunities that you had to put Darby at the top of the mountain, and you choose, after a competitive match with Kenny Omega, for Darby Allin to fall on MJF 4 times and then pin him. This is and again, WWE is guilty of this sort of thing a lot too, but AEW for me, it's been consistent. Tony Khan books AEW based on how he feels when he wakes up that morning. He woke up that morning and said, "Oh, you know, it'd be really cool if Darby won the title tonight." Didn't give a single thought to how we got to this point. No story, no build, no reason whatsoever why MJF would, even though MJF has been booked as the smartest heel in the business, he lets himself fall into that position with Darby. It just,
and like what? Like it's also like, bro, you did this on a TV special. Darby Allin winning the AEW World Championship should have
been an all or nothing.
That should have been like a really big built up deal.
All in. Granted, whatever the big pay-per-view is.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you just came off this Kenny Omega match, like you can't build that, like moments like these are why I'm like, you know what, Stone Cold, you were right to walk out of WWE. You were right to walk out for them saying Brock Lesnar should just beat you randomly, because what like, come on, bro. Like AEW, don't get me wrong, AEW been getting a lot of grace from me because it was better than what I was seeing on SmackDown. I was kind of letting them rock. There's a couple things I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I kind of know what I'm getting into when I'm watching AEW. This shit, though, it's so, because I don't even hate Darby Allin for real. Even though I call him Mini Jeff Hardy I don't even hate Darby Allin for real, but he's actually hoop.
Yeah.
This was it was a here nigga damn, but if you're gonna give him a here nigga damn, at least give him like here nigga damn, like not like a like at least be happy about it. Like it really felt like they were like, let's
here
just
naysayer damn.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that decision was. I didn't really like.
I don't care about the hometown crap either. Somebody just sent in the chat. I don't care. Bailey can't win in San Jose to save her life. Matter of fact, Bailey should just stop going to San Jose because she can't win in San Jose to save her life.
I also don't want to hear that MJF is going to be leaving to film a movie, because if that's the case, he should have lost it to Kenny. And then you could have built up a story where Darby beat Kenny instead of, oh, MJF's going to beat Kenny and then randomly 3 weeks later lose to Darby on an episode of Dynamite. Like, give me a fucking break.
Good point. Well, look, fellas, we'll go ahead and sign off. Make sure you guys subscribe to the pod. We'll be back tomorrow for night 2 recap. Hopefully the crowd is better, and hopefully night 2 will deliver better than night 1. I do think night 2 could have lined up to be looking a little bit better on paper.
Pray for Oba.
There are certain decisions that will affect how we look at night 2. So hopefully we come back on here tomorrow night and we have a very positive review to give you guys. So,
I do not want to wake my child screaming because I'm yelling to the top of my lungs. I want to come in here and have a, hey guys, night 2 was a great show. That's what I hope.
That's what we hope.
Yeah, I hope it's the opposite of WrestleMania 39, because all the high we were left with at the end of night 1, and then the complete and total letdown of night 2.
And the thing is,
that was
the thing is, we're not even on a high right now, because 39 night 1, we was like, man, this is amazing. Like the Usos that lost, Sammy and Kevin, we cooking. We had Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus. I was like, man, night 2 finna be a movie. We can ignore the little women tag classic. Night 2 finna be a movie. Concerto to the Demon. Bianca retaining.
Yeah.
Roman retaining. Oh my God. Yeah. this. I kid y'all not. I legit might stop watching WWE for a while. Like I don't know if I can. I dealt with Hell in a Cell 2019. I dealt with Goldberg squashing the Fiend. Every Finn Balor joke y'all done made. If Oba loses to Brock, I don't know if I can handle. I don't know if I can take it. Maybe. I might not be on the show. I might be so sad. I might not be on the show.
Listen, we've made it through some hard times, man. We made it through some real hard times. Oba losing, though, will probably be the biggest disappointing feeling I've had maybe since Braun Strowman lost to Brock Lesnar. Like, that really was like, y'all had something with that, and y'all completely just decided to ignore it. You completely decided to just waste it. Like, all right, we have something here. We know we have something here. But we're not going to do it anyway. We just decided that we're going to go with something else. That's how I feel with Oba. Like, if Oba doesn't beat Brock, because wins and losses do matter sometimes in wrestling. Yes, sometimes you can still lose and look very strong. I mean, if you saw Undertaker versus Kane at WrestleMania 14, Kane losing was cool, and he still looked very strong in the end for the story being told. But this is an important match to help cement Oba for the future. Brock is not a part of the future anymore. Oba Femi is a part of your future, and this guy has it. We're talking about a guy that could be a potential world champion of your company, a future WrestleMania main event guy. This guy has all the credentials in the world you want for a guy to build around your future. He beats Brock Lesnar. That helps cement him as a serious top threat contender on the main roster, which is what you want. That's exactly what you want. If he loses to Brock Lesnar, that just tells everybody, okay, well, yeah, he's not ready.
It also wouldn't help the accusations, by the way. The meme of Brock Lesnar and, you know. Oh, look, there's a black guy with a bunch of momentum. It wouldn't help. I'm telling you.
Though, I'm probably.
It wouldn't help Triple H's allegations either. I'm sorry.
No.
I will say, though, I'm probably more confident that Oba will win opposed to some of the past, though. Because, I mean, when Brock fought, like, you know, Samoa Joe, I wasn't really too sure Samoa Joe was going to win. When he fought Braun Strowman, in my heart, I knew that was the right decision. No, I wasn't too sure, though, if they was going to make that decision happen, though. When he fought Bobby Lashley those times. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if, I don't know if I see him beating Bobby Lashley, even though Bobby did beat him the one time with the interference. But it's like, Brock has that mystique to him. It's like when he matches up against people, it's hard to believe that he'll actually lose because of how they've treated him over the last many years. So
yeah,
I am confident they'll have Oba win because I do want to believe that there are people in this company that do have common sense. I do want to believe that they hear the reaction this man is getting. And I want to believe they look at him as a guy that they want to be a potential top guy for the future. I want to believe all these things because they've given me no reason not to believe it yet. So tomorrow night, he beats Oba. Oba beats Brock. That tells us everything we need to know about Oba for the future.
And I hear you. This is also the same company that looked at, we got Cody and Randy one-on-one. Let's add Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. I have little confidence they're going to make the right decision because of what I've seen with them do with other top stories. They literally have messed up damn near every build, except for this one, mind you. This build was actually really good. Don't know why we needed Triple H in the middle of it. He got a pacemaker. I don't know why he's trying to get in that ring and try to get in the middle of them two behemoths. Nevertheless,
yeah, Melo's been carrying
they give him
Io's
no
the most
reason.
popular wrestler on our roster.
And Melo got taken off for Sammy fucking Hogan.
Catch him next Friday on SmackDown.
I can't think of a
He wasn't even on the Go Home show.
Yeah, I can't think of a booking decision though where somebody lost to that effect that Vince was having back in those days. Like they made some dumb creative story decisions, but since Triple H taken over, besides WrestleMania 39, which there's already been said that Vince was taking over that show anyway, where the Demon lost. I haven't looked at a decision where somebody lost where I was like, damn, y'all had something with that, and y'all completely messed that up. They haven't given me that yet in this Triple H era, so that's why I still have a little faith. Like they at least make the right decisions when it comes to the majority of the time to the winners and the losers. The stories, they be all over the place. They be hit or miss with the story. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't make sense, but they haven't given me that feeling. It got to a point where when them NXT call-ups got to the main roster, it got to a point where we didn't believe Vince would utilize any of them at that point because he was not utilizing the ones that he had before. They haven't given me that feeling yet in this modern era of Triple H. So we'll get to one more super chat here. I see you right here. You think Oba losing will be worse than the streak ending? No.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about Undertaker. We're talking about Undertaker streak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Undertaker streak wasn't even like a terrible decision.
Undertaker was done at that point. Yeah. Oba hasn't even started yet.
Way worse. Oba losing is way worse than the streak ending. I just hated who the streak ended to because I felt like it could have been used for somebody else. But Brock Lesnar was believable enough to do it.
What would this? Okay, let me ask you this: Oba Femi losing to Brock Lesnar. This would be the worst decision WWE's made since when?
Hell in a Cell 2019.
I'm gonna say when Goldberg beat the Fiend.
That was after, right?
That was after 2019. Also, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say it like this. This would rank up there, in my opinion, with the Nexus at SummerSlam, with the Fiend at Hell in a Cell, with the Summer of Punk.
Finger Poke of Doom. Finger Poke of Doom.
Maybe not the Finger Poke of Doom because that brought down a whole ass company, but it would rank up there with at least the worst booking decisions since WWE changed from WWF. I'll put it that way. I think it would be in the conversation for the worst booking decision of all time in the history of WWE as it is now.
There's certain ones I do agree with. For me personally, there's nothing that'll ever be worse than 2019 Hell in a Cell for me, bro. That will never be top for me. Like that legitimately, that like made me feel so negative about wrestling in a way that I've never felt before.
And I feel like Oba losing to Brock will give me that feeling.
Because the way they booked that Hell in a Cell match, like it felt like they were insulting my intelligence with how a Hell in a Cell match was. Like we know what Hell in a Cell is.
That hadn't been the first time they've done a no contest in a Hell in a Cell match. That has not been the first time they've done that.
It was the second time, but the way they did it, and then what we had afterwards, it just felt so insulting. I'm like, bro, we know what a Hell in a Cell match is. We've seen this, and it just, I've never felt so angry at that decision before in my entire life. Like that, I can't say that Oba losing will make me feel that way. I'll be disappointed, and I will be like I said, I won't even be, I don't even know if I'll be angry. I'll be more so just sad and disappointed. Like, y'all had something.
I'll be fuming.
It's funny too how that Hell in a Cell decision lingers, because even today during the match between Fatu and Drew, when Fatu pulled out the toolbox, I said, disqualify that man.
Yeah.
No toolboxes allowed.
For me, going into this Oba and Brock match, there's a point where it's like, okay, there's a right decision here. We know what the right decision should be. Going to that Hell in a Cell match, generally didn't know what was going to happen, because I'm like, bro, you kind of booking yourself into a corner here. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I would have never in my wildest dreams guessed that's what we
no contest.
Right.
Because the whole time he putting them ladders on there, I'm like, okay, eventually the Fiend's going to Undertaker rise up.
I'm seemingly concerned about how long Finn entrance will be. Also, if Brock beats Oba, I can't wait to hear what they will come. Oh yeah, the Unreal. The lies.
I'm sure they'll have lots of excuses for
They're not going to talk about it. I don't think they're going to talk about it on Unreal. I don't think they're going to skip past it, because they control what they put out. They're not.
And what sucks for if Oba loses, I don't think he will, but if Oba does lose, what sucks for Oba is that he's not in the position right now to fight back and voice like, hey, this is wrong. You know, I should have won. He's not at that level right now. He can't just, he got to take shit and just, go with whatever.
You got to hope other people on that level come and be like, hey, don't do
one of the other things that gives me hope, speaking of Unreal, is that Triple H and Nick Khan, they can claim until the cows come home that they don't pay attention to what's said online. They do. Don't give me that shit.
No,
they do.
Triple H talks about it all the time in interviews.
They do. So by the time this show starts at 3 Pacific tomorrow, they will have seen the tweets. They will have seen the highlights. They may have even, somebody on the staff may have seen this very podcast. And even if, as they lay head to pillow tonight, even if the plan is for Brock to win tomorrow, my hope is, as they see how much shit they are getting for night one, that Triple H says, hey, if we don't send Brock out there and win this match, this crowd's going to start pouring out of that fucking arena. That's
which might for real happen. They might get a walkout if Brock Lesnar win that match.
And you know what sucks?
Because it's what they're starting with.
The second match after that is going to be the ladder match. The ladder match is going to be right after that. So I will feel bad for the people in the ladder match, because now people aren't going to, they're not going to be excited for that anymore.
They're not going to care. If Brock Lesnar beats Oba Femi.
And I don't even care how Oba went. I don't care if it's a squash, a competitive match, as long as he wins. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when that first F5 comes, because I know that F5 gonna happen. When he takes that first F5, if I don't see that kick out, bro.
I think Brock's gonna F5 him at the very start of the match, then Oba's gonna kick out at 1, maybe even not at 1.
Really?
But how justified, how like vindicated would you feel if, like, start of the match, Brock Lesnar charge him, fall from grace, 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, that might the goosebumps.
Look, there's no reason, and I know, I don't think Brock has an issue with stuff like that, because he got squashed by Goldberg. Let's not forget about that. When Goldberg came back, old ass Goldberg might have had you.
Goldberg is Goldberg though. This is
an old
Goldberg ain't black, but Goldberg ain't black.
That's an old. I don't think that matters. I think that's an old Goldberg. Like, and if Brock Lesnar didn't want to get beat by an old Goldberg, you think that shit would have happened?
I think once it became for the title, though, he was like, no.
And we know that Brock knows what the crowd expects and what the crowd wants, because we saw his reaction, his backstage reaction after WrestleMania 34. We saw him.
Brock, he's a lot more smart about the business than people actually want to give him credit.
No, I've always said I think he's smart about the business.
Because one thing that I really liked, did you guys notice the segment with Oba when before he powerbombed and everything? But like when Oba came out and they started chanting, did you see how Brock was reacting? Like looking around at the crowd, like holy shit, like these motherfuckers are going crazy. Like okay, like I believe that they know they have something here, and I think that I saw. The entire concept I want to believe of this feud, or why they put him in this feud, was for, hell, Brock, go out there and get this guy over.
Yeah. And if you know, someone posted a close-up video of it that very first night when Oba came out and laid him out. You can see Brock, he's laying there and he's going, put your boot on my chest. Put your boot on my chest. So he understands. He's not afraid of looking weak. But my only problem is, even if Brock is the one that's saying this needs to go a certain way,
the higher ups,
the higher ups are gonna, because
that was always a Vince thing too. Like, oh, you got to protect Brock. You know what I mean? Can't
Right.
make Brock look, Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand it. But I think
Well,
tomorrow
before we head off,
we'll be having a
somebody just
positive
said that.
outlook.
Before we head off, somebody said that I guess Bleacher Report graded WrestleMania Night 1 a D+.
D+, yeah.
I mean, it was I'd give it a C.
If that had been I don't know, let's say if that had been Backlash Night of Champions, very good pay-per-view. Very good pay-per-view.
That would have been a great pay-per-view if it was in Saudi.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like, for me, the main thing, I just feel like the crowd just didn't care about anything that was happening. They had the little returns and they were excited, but when like the matches were happening, I'm watching the Drew and Jacob match. I'm like, I don't feel like the crowd really reacting like to these spots like that. Like,
and we talked about the reasons for that early in the show. And the unfortunate thing is those aren't problems they can fix between now and tomorrow, because they're going to have the same amount of ads. Those ads are going to run the same amount of time. I don't know.
I knew this crowd.
I was worried too, because me and G were watching SmackDown
yesterday,
and the reaction that Cody got.
Nobody woed.
First thing I said in the chat was like, if this is gonna be the crowd tomorrow,
that's when I knew. I was like, I didn't think it was gonna get worse from last year's Vegas crowd. Nope. When Cody came out, first off, nobody cheered. I was like, that's a little weird, but maybe they're gonna boo him. He did that whoa, and I could actually hear the audio on the song. Jay, nobody woed.
I know, but he got a better reaction.
He got a better reaction to WrestleMania. He got a better reaction to WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that was like,
he got a better reaction to WrestleMania. But I already felt like when I heard that reaction, I'm like, if this is going to be the crowd we're getting for Mania, it's already going to be hard to watch, because crowds can make or break matches sometimes. You know what I mean? Like a huge part of why we loved Rock versus Hogan, because that's the greatest crowd we've ever seen for a match. You know what I mean? Like, you felt the energy. And then you watch during COVID, when we didn't have no fans, it was like, oh, damn, need these fans here, bro. Like, watching those matches was kind of rough. So I'm hoping the crowd tomorrow will have more energy and more passion. I mean, looking out, assuming that everything goes right and the matches deliver, there's no reason they shouldn't. You know what I mean?
And night 2 has a chance of being like up there with, like, as far as just like one night, night 2 has the opportunity to be up there with like 39 night 1.
Yeah.
40 night 2. It has the potential to be like a top.
On paper, like, besides Rhea and Jade, and that might overexceed our expectations.
I mean, but even then, we had Jay and Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we can move
past. But assuming everything goes right, and let's even say Jade and Rhea overexceeds our expectations, night 2 could be great. You know what I mean? Like, if everything is booked right, all the matches go well.
Waiting for Oba and Brock and the result of that, because we just had, I live in Missouri, so in March through May, pretty much half the month we spend watching live weather forecasts, waiting to see if there's going to be a tornado or whatever. And this Oba result feels like that. It feels like I'm sitting and watching a weather report, and I'm waiting to see if this storm system is going to start rotating or not. If it starts rotating, we're in trouble. If it doesn't rotate, then we're going to be in good shape for the rest of the night. I'm just terrified this Brock storm, this TKO storm system is going to start rotating. And it's going to ruin the rest of the night. It's so I'm scared.
I'm keeping positive faith. I think, like I said, I think they know what to do. I'm just going to say that. They know what to do, bro.
We'll see.
So, we'll see. Once again, make sure you guys sub. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you guys follow No Name Wrestling. Hopefully we come on here tomorrow with a very positive feedback on how night 2 was better than night 1, man. So, man, let's keep a positive outlook, guys. Let's keep positive. It's so positive, and we're gonna end off the show the right way. You know what I'm saying? This is how positive we got to end off the show.
Fuck, good. It's good to be back.
Because this right here, if you believe in Omos and Homo sapien, then you got to keep faith that things are gonna be good, man. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Night 2 recap.